Break down the barriers, smash down the walls. We need to get out there and spread the word. Stop the stigma, educate people, reach out. Life's a struggle. We all need hope. Yes, we are low on our luck, but there's a reason I ended up homeless. Was it a relationship breakdown? Perhaps my family didn't want me anymore. Just take a second to think there's a reason I got to where I'm at.
Well, Simon on the Streets is a West Yorkshire based independent charity. We operate in Leeds, in Bradford and Huddersfield. We're a charity that concentrate on supporting rough sleepers. And by rough sleepers I mean the real entrenched rough sleepers who have been sleeping out in the streets for sometimes a number of years.
Well, I suppose there isn't really an average day at Simon on the Streets. It can be really, really varied, and it's centred around what our service users need or what they want, the direction they want to go in. So it can be wandering around the city centre, trying to find people that have been rough sleeping or are out begging. So Simon on the Streets take the approach where we try to kind of befriend people a little bit over time, build up and establish a trusting relationship with people. Once, or if and when they are ready to change or want support with anything, you know, they've got someone to turn to and we're available, I suppose, yeah.
I've not always had the good fortune to sleep in a bed, so I think that's why it enables me to feel empowered to give something back.
Unfortunately, I came from a very dysfunctional background, very sort of dysfunctional mother, very violent stepfather, and I frankly just found it easier and more comfortable to sleep in a plastic bag. And when I was between the ages of 16 and 20, I have many memories of sleeping on pavements and in gardens and all over the place, rather than be at home and sort of financial situations and what have you. And I think the worst thing about it is actually the feeling alone. It's not just the cold, it's the aloneness. And being alone it's almost like a sort of social virus of today. You know, never before have we had so many people on this earth, but actually never before have we been so alone.
It's devastating what people have gone through, and I suppose there's a part of me that just thinks, you know, we're so lucky. You know, some of us are so fortunate to have, you know, maybe fallen on hard times, but to have recovered when so many of these people don't recover. And sometimes Simon is, you know, all they have.
You can't actually say there's a sort of a can you can get rough sleepers out of. They're all different, obviously they're all individuals. A lot of rough sleepers do have mental health issues. A lot of these mental health issues, because they don't actually seek any medical support, are undiagnosed. So unfortunately the only support they can get, or the only support they find, is by taking drugs to help them control their emotions. And a lot of the time you find they'll start taking heroin, they'll start taking crack, and they'll start taking spice. And once they start taking drugs like that and mixing it with the mental health issues, that's when we get real problems trying to help them.
So something to bear in mind about the service users that we deal with is that they are often struggling with serious trauma and severe mental health problems. And the responsibility of a property can actually be too overwhelming for them. For the very fact of being indoors, having to look after your bills, you know, TV licence, all that kind of stuff, cooking your own meals, can be just something that people really struggle with, particularly if they haven't had that responsibility for a long time and they've been living the street lifestyle. Another huge problem is just filling their time with meaningful activity. And if you sort of put somebody in a flat and they're on benefits, they're not sort of earning their money, I think there is a sort of lack of self-esteem that perhaps comes with that, and a social isolation. So say they've been on the streets for 6 months, they've got their community on the streets, they've got their friends on the streets, they have made, and it will be a huge effort to even get into a property to then maintain that and not go out and see your friends who are all still out there doing the same thing. It's very difficult.
I chose Simon on the Streets principally because of the connection with the homeless. There's a lot of veterans that are homeless, and it's just everywhere you go, in every town and city now, people sat begging, and just putting £1 in a paper cup doesn't seem enough anymore, really. So just instigated this sleep out at the Hepworth. all my friends and suppliers have supported me in this event today. We've got over 30 people on our first attempt. I'm hoping we can raise around £5,000. And we look forward to doing it again next year if we can.
So it's about 8:15 on a Tuesday, which means it's time for our soup run. We do it every single week, and it's been running for about 20 odd years now. So this is Alistair and Steve, who have been our longest serving volunteers and have got, I think, about 30 years under their belt between the two of them. So we offer sandwiches and soup to anyone that wants to come down, really, whether they're rough sleepers or just people that are vulnerably housed and want to come down for the social event. We also have Pete, our resident busker, who comes down on most weeks and he's got a running total of about £200, I think, raising money for us as well. So it's not, although primarily we offer food, soup and coffee, it's not necessarily all about that. It's about providing a place that people can come to chat to us, and just knowing that we're here on a Tuesday night, I think, can just be a little bit of solace to somebody who doesn't know where they're going to get their next meal.
Actually, you could be one. You could do the dancing. Yeah. Nobody's dancing. Get the feet. Action, feet. One love. Let's get together and feel alright.
And so, being on the streets singing, you see a lot of people who are sat either begging or maybe wrapped in a blanket or some asleep, and I wanted to get involved with that kind of work. There was a suggestion by the manager to keep it to an hour's busking and an hour talking and serving soup, etc., rather than to focus on one at the exclusion of the other. Because the main reason is to be in contact with the people who use the service. And that's been very, very good. Really enjoy that aspect of it. It's like a whole new set of friends, to be honest. People are more alike than different. And that's it, basically. And I'm a believer in people melding together and communicating rather than have some kind of stigma attached to somebody because they're having to slum it in the streets.